The king, the boy, and the prayer that changed everything. Long ago, in a vast and flourishing kingdom, there ruled a king known for his kindness and justice. His lands were rich, his armies strong, but what truly made him beloved was his compassion. He listened to the poor, helped the weak, and ensured that no one under his rule suffered oppression or injustice. But even the most powerful rulers are not beyond fate. One day, the king fell gravely ill. At first, it seemed like a minor sickness, but as days turned into weeks, his condition worsened. His strength faded, his voice weakened, and the once mighty king was confined to his bed. Physicians from across the kingdom were summoned, each more skilled than the last, but none could identify the illness, let alone cure it. The palace fell into despair. Finally, a renowned physician from a distant land was brought before the king. He examined him carefully, observing every symptom in silence. When he finished, his expression was heavy with concern. "Your Majesty," he said quietly, "this illness has no known cure." A wave of fear spread through the court. The king, though weak, forced himself to sit upright. "If there is even the slightest chance," he said, "you must tell me. No matter how difficult it is, I will face it." The physician hesitated, as if weighing his words. "There is one possible remedy," he finally said, "but it is extremely difficult, and morally troubling. A medicine can be prepared using the blood of a healthy boy, approximately 18 years old. Only then might your life be saved." The court was stunned into silence. The king closed his eyes for a moment. His heart was heavy, yet his fear of death clouded his judgment. After a long pause, he gave the order. "Send my soldiers across the kingdom. Find such a boy." And so, the search began. The soldiers traveled through cities, villages, deserts, and mountains. They searched tirelessly, but no suitable boy was found. When they returned empty-handed, the king, growing weaker with each passing day, ordered them to search again, this time in a distant province under his rule. There, fate led them to a young boy. He was about 18, strong, and full of life. His face carried innocence, and his eyes reflected a quiet strength. The soldiers approached his parents and offered them gold, more wealth than they had ever seen. Faced with temptation and fear, the parents made a heartbreaking decision. They agreed. The boy, unaware of his fate, was taken to the palace. Before proceeding, the physician advised, "This matter must be made lawful. Seek a judgment." A judge was summoned. After hearing the case, he issued a ruling that permitted the act, declaring it justified for the survival of the king. And so, everything was prepared. The boy was brought before the executioner. The blade was sharpened. The air grew heavy with tension. The king gave the final command. The executioner raised his sword. At that very moment, just before the blade could fall, the boy spoke. "Wait," he said. His voice was calm, yet filled with a depth that silenced the entire court. The king raised his trembling hand. "Let him speak." The boy lifted his eyes toward the sky, as if looking beyond everything around him, and said, "Oh my lord, I turned to my parents, but they sold me for gold. I turned to my people, but they abandoned me without question. Now I turn to you. Have you also left me alone, that such injustice is being done to me?" The word, injustice, echoed like thunder in the silent hall. Those simple words carried unbearable truth. The king felt something break inside him. In that moment, he no longer saw a cure, he saw a crime. He saw his own wrongdoing, standing before him. In the form of an innocent boy. His body trembled, tears filled his eyes. For the first time since his illness began, his heart felt alive. Suddenly, he stood up. "Stop," he cried. "Do not harm him." The executioner lowered his sword. The court watched in shock as the king stepped forward, his voice filled with emotion. "I am healed," he declared. Completely healed. And strangely, it was true. The weight that had crushed him, the darkness that had consumed him, it was gone. Not through blood, but through awakening. Not through sacrifice, but through mercy. The king approached the boy and embraced him. "Forgive me," he said softly. He ordered that the boy be returned safely to his home, along with gifts, not as payment, but as repentance. The parents were ashamed, and the kingdom learned a lesson it would never forget. From that day forward, the king ruled with deeper wisdom. He understood that true power is not in saving oneself at the cost of another, but in choosing justice, even when it demands sacrifice. And as for the boy, his prayer became a story told for generations. A reminder that even in the darkest moment, a sincere call to the Creator is never unheard. Moral: True healing begins when the heart awakens. No life is worth saving through injustice, and a single sincere prayer can change even the hardest destiny.
If you like the story, then subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon next to it so that you get regular notifications of my upcoming videos.